On the 10th of June 2022, Phoenix would retire as a team boss for HAAS. But who to replace him? Phoenix did not hesitate 1 second and of course chose me, Oski, as a new HAAS team boss. Round 1 went pretty well for HAAS. Jaden was able to get a podium, and that meant 15 points for HAAS, and Braveless, his teammate, was not able to get any points. But it was still a strong result, and it was looking like a promising season for HAAS. But there was one issue. From my past experience, I knew Jaden is someone who crashes a lot. Although he is one of the most talented drivers I know, he will crash. And along with Braveless, I knew he would not have enough pace to win as the constructors. I had big ambitions and I immediately turned my face to Dino. He's one of the most talented drivers I know, and I knew I had to sign him into FRIL. This is why I signed Dino as a main driver replacing Jaden. As a second driver, I signed Zinx, as I knew he also had a lot of pace and he was looking promising, meaning Jaden was demoted to a reserve. Round 2 is when I knew I had to prove myself. I got a lot of hate after demoting Jaden, who got me a podium in the first round, but I knew Dino and Zinx could get me much more. As the race went by, Dino was looking strong to win, while Zinx had bottled it already. But you know what they say, when HAAS has a good result, they will bottle. Yeah, Dino bottled. Although he could have won, P7 probably was quite a good result looking at the whole season. But hope was still there. Dino was still someone who I knew could win more races, which is why I kept him. And it's not as if something would happen to him, right? After the news, I obviously had to replace Dino with Jaden. But I knew Jaden wouldn't have enough confidence after I demoted him. And this reflected into the race. Both my drivers Zinx and Jaden crashed. You could call this the start of the fall. South Korea started well with P3 for Zinx and P9 for Jaden, and it was looking like we could get a good haul of points. But guess what? Now at this point we were already facing relegation. We were P9 in the constructors and we needed points. But Canada just wasn't that weekend. Now what I forgot to mention is that Zinx had front running pace at Canada. But I think you're used to it. Once HAAS has good pace. To replace him, I went for a consistent side. I signed ASM. As for his first race, I think I'm using too much this sound. I still had hope to not be relegated, and Hungary was one of the best results yet. Jaden first got points in the sprint and then finished P5 in the race, and that meant 13 points for HAAS in total. But the worst has yet to come. Now in between Hungary and Britain, Dino got unbanned, and I knew I had to get him as soon as possible. He would replace ASM, and this means Dino and Jaden would be the lineup. Fortunately, the point scoring streak would continue. Dino would bring HAAS back to the podium, and ASM would get his first points. This is when hope started to come back. You know what that means? To replace Dino, I signed F, as he is really talented. But this talent did not translate into a result. F crashed and Jaden couldn't join. Oh, and if you're wondering how Dino did for Ferrari in his debut, at USA, F was looking strong for good points but unfortunately bottled during the last lap. ASM though was able to get P7. After this round, I decided to change up the lineup again. I have had my eye on a French talent, Gogo. He is the French champion and won a race in RFO, which is why I signed him for FRIL. Out of all the races, Greece is probably the most disappointing one. And it isn't even because we didn't have pace. The reason is simply the HAAS curse. As soon as the driver does good, he will crash. Gogo was looking strong to possibly win, and even ASM as well, but unfortunately they both crashed. This leaves us with only 3 rounds to go, and we are still dead last. QATAR was a crucial round, and ASM was only able to get P10 while Gogo was struggling and crashed. With only 2 rounds to go, it was not looking great. Unfortunately, Gogo couldn't attend.
This meant I had to sign an emergency signing, and I decided to go for Dennis. But it was a disappointing result, and both ASM and Dennis did not finish in the points. This leaves us with only one race to go to catch up to Red Bull. Since you've seen the title and the thumbnail, you probably already know the end result. But in case you still don't know, we are relegated to F2. Gogo had a really good race at the end, but unfortunately a late safety car ruined his race. Either way, he would have had to won it, and he was not looking strong enough to actually do that. Unfortunately, we have to obey to the rules, and this means HAAS will go to F2, but soon to be Apollo Motorsport. So I guess that's the story of how HAAS went to F2. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and sub for more. See ya!